Yes, hello everybody, and welcome to hashtag Marketech Mondays. This is a show that features industry leaders who will share with us their career journey to inspire the world of marketing. Now, this is an initiative of Blogapalooza and Marketech APAC. And of course, for this episode, joining us today is the executive director of MullenLowe Treyna's digital marketing team. He is also a part of TAPS, which is the technology platform service, and with over 15 years of experience in digital marketing. He works for clients across different countries, from FMCG brands, banking, and finance to startups. He won several awards locally and in Asia for selected campaigns on digital, such as GULPihan sa 7-Eleven and Grill Effect Mobile, among many others. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Mr. Raffy Bariso on the show.
Hi, everybody. Hi,
Hello, hi
Jamie.
Raffy.
Thanks for having me
Hello.
here. Hello,
Yes,
hello.
yes, hello, and it's an honor, no? Thank you so much for your time, for being here in the show with us, and we are very excited to learn more about you and, of course, your career journey. But first things first, I'm sure our online viewers are, really eager to know more about you. What is a
Mhm.
typical day like for you? What keeps you sharp, and what's, been keeping you busy during this pandemic or quarantine?
Oh, in one word, it would be busy. But I'm happily busy, and it's because there's so much, I think, innovation to do and needed during the pandemic
Right.
crisis. And I can just imagine that how everything sped up in terms of the velocity when the pandemic hit us in March, right? So
Mhm.
I'm already doing a lot in terms of digital marketing, but imagine all of my brands pivoting double time for
Yes,
this
yes,
season,
yes.
for this crisis. So it has been busy, but I think I'm really learning a lot. And
Right.
um and as you say, the pandemic's like the biggest digital disruptor. If there's
Mhm,
a
mhm.
chief disruption officer, it would be the pandemic. I know that line has been used to death, but it's really true. So it
Yeah,
has
that's
been
true.
busy but rewarding.
Yeah, I totally get you and I totally agree. It's the type of, rewarding feeling, especially if we are, faced with challenges such as this pandemic. And everybody really hates this pandemic. And I hope it will really end soon. But yeah, going back, I've read in your credentials, you've been in the digital marketing for 15 years already. So I would like to know, is this already related to your first job, or how was your first job
Okay. My first job
like?
is my first official job title is I was an account executive for websites. How weird is that? So I
Oh,
started way
okay.
back in 2004, right after I
Mhm.
graduated from UP Los Baños, studying. I took up communication arts, so really
Right.
far from the technology side. But I think I just ran out of options and like applying for different big multinational agencies at that time. And during that time, a boutique agency opened this position for website account executive. So that's where I started, and I have I have not stepped out of that wagon. So I'm
Right,
happy to
right.
still be here after 15 years. Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine 15 years in the digital world? And having said that, it really entails you with so many responsibilities and roles, right? But we are also curious, no? Do you have any campaigns, the remarkable ones that really stuck with you? Maybe we can share it with our audience.
Sure.
Something that really, really fun.
Right. Quite a few. So during the pandemic, we just had a campaign called Kanya Kanya. It's a short
Yes.
film from Nor. It
Mhm.
basically touches on how sometimes the modern times of like being exposed to a lot of technology, and of course the crisis sorts of divide the family.
True.
But
Yeah, yeah,
at the
that's
end of
true.
the day, your family can also bring comfort, and that comfort can come in the form of like a food lovingly
Yes,
prepared by
yes,
your
yes.
loved ones or your friends, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
one. In the most recent times like this in 2020. But apart from that, I think what would be like my a campaign that's really close to my heart was way back in 2016 we had a campaign for 7-Eleven, which you mentioned a while ago. It's
Yes, yes.
GULPihan 7-Eleven. So
Mm-hmm.
every election period, 7-Eleven comes up with this campaign of like it's an informal vote canvassing through the use of golf cups with
Yes, yes.
certain candidates printed, right? So
Yeah,
it
I
was
saw that.
very
Yeah.
right. So it was very important to me because of the advocacy that is attached to it, which is educating and
Mm-hmm.
pushing our countrymen to like really go out and exercise your right to vote. So it's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
relevant after this
That
time,
is
right?
great. Yeah, so up to this time, and you know what, I've seen the commercial, it really is so creative and witty in a way of really influencing people how to vote wisely and just, showing
Yes.
everyone that we can unify together. And speaking of
Yes.
unification, I saw also the Kanya Kanya with Nor. It's really wonderful. I mean, like we're talking about togetherness, that family bonding and all of that, right? But having said that once again, maybe now go on to the next question. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of people, or probably a particular person that you look up to and really have passed on that nuggets of wisdom from them to you. Who are those people?
Well, Jamie, I've been in the in the industry for like 15 years, and I've been blessed with
Mm-hmm.
uh, being in the I don't know in the same space, breathing space with a lot of advertising
Right.
legends. But I think out of all of them, Lay Reyes would be the person that had the most impact in my career and actually in my personal life. So
Uh-huh.
I just want to talk about her a little bit. Lay
Right.
Reyes is currently she is the chief product consultant at MullenLowe Treyna, and she used to be our president too. So what makes her great for me is her generosity as a leader. So a lot of the marketing principles that I've learned um, would have to come from her because in every meeting that you go and Lay Reyes is there, you just get a lot of value out of that interaction. The way she reframes arguments and challenges and comes up with
Mhm.
solutions that she can put together in a stack. I don't know, in a new
Wow.
technology.
Right.
Super amazing, and super
Mm-hmm.
like fruitful.
Yes, yes. And I think that's really a definition of how a leader should be, diba? Like for them to be a remarkable one. And also just to tap what you mentioned earlier, diba, leaders are really problem solvers. Eh. They make the team, in harmony and just make everyone feel comfortable and better. All
Yeah.
right. But being in, I'm sure you've also managed a lot of people, no, in your team. How is it like? We would like to know, like, how do you manage those people with different temperaments, different point of views? So how do you deal with them?
And different age groups, might I add. So I have like both
Yeah.
ends of the spectrum. So really interesting. For me, what it revealed to me is there's a side of me that I've already known, and it's
Mhm.
sort of confirming those things for me. And then there are other portions of myself that I have come to discover. So uh, being in a leadership position, I think early on I had to set that vision for my team.
Right.
So uh, having a vision sets the tone and direction for everybody. And sila pa lang, I have to sell that vision so that I
Mm-hmm.
can build that trust and they can get behind
Right.
my goals. So it's
Mm-hmm.
quite important. Of course, I have to adjust every now and then because I really have, most of them are really young. I mean, they are
I
in their early
know.
20s.
Welcome
And
to
on
the
the
Gen
other
Z.
spec, right. But what I love about working with Gen Zs would be, they really seek out for mentorship, they really seek out for
Right.
information, and they want to have that kind of high touch interaction with you.
Mhm.
So I think I am pretty privileged with the fact that I also want that kind of interaction. So
Yes.
yeah, it works. It works for everybody.
Exactly. And you know what? No, I myself, I just want to share that I also learned from the Gen Z. There's some things that, I don't know, but learn from them and would like to apply it to my life. So that's how smart and witty and sharp they are, diba? So ang galing lang.
Exactly.
And right, so now we go on naman to your once again career journey. There is always, I mean, like for you being a leader. I'm sure you've experienced a couple of failures and success points in your life. Maybe we can start with your failure. Like, is there a particular failure that really is there in your heart that made you to who you are today?
Well, I could not categorically pinpoint one exactly, but I think every time that I do not apply myself is already a failure in itself. So,
Okay.
uh, categorically, wala pa talaga, knock on wood. However,
Mhm.
there are some interests, personal interests, that I might have pushed aside in favor of what I am pursuing now. So, for example, during my high school and college day, I was into performing arts. So that had to stop when I got
Oh,
into
nice.
advertising. Yeah. I was also
What
interested in, sorry,
yes. Oh,
sorry, G.
what performing arts were you what in particular were you doing in
Well,
college?
I used to dance and I used to sing. So
Oh, I
um,
love it.
if you're familiar with Kurt Kurt of Glee, that
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
sort of like who I was back in the
Oh
day.
my, wow, my goodness, very
So
talented.
yeah,
Wow.
I'd like to believe that I am, but yeah, I have to push that aside. So I think
Mhm.
in a way that kind of is a failure for me. Script writing was also an interest, and I had to pass on that opportunity in favor of where I am right now. But what I know is, I realized that because I enjoy being an advertising so much, that those
Mm-mm-mm.
failures seem to be like, things that might not be applicable to me anymore. So I
Yes.
think I just have to reframe that failure for me and see that
Mm-mm.
the best thing for me to do is to maximize my time where I am right now, and
Mm.
to learn from everybody that I work with, so I can create better opportunities to further my contribution in the agency. So
Wow.
yon. But
Mm-mm-mm.
talaga, if I do not apply myself, failure na yon. And I can easily sense if I am heading there.
Yeah, that's true. No, I totally agree also. Ang galing. I'm learning so much from you, ha? Pero going back, you know what? You said earlier that you had to sacrifice something. And for us to be able to get what we really want, we really have to sacrifice the thing that we want and maybe just go back to that when there is, the perfect time for that. And
Mhm.
also, I like what you said that, there is always a learning curve in the people that you're working with, diba? Parang every day is a new day to learn. Yes. So,
Yes.
ayun. And now that we've talked about failures, we go on to the success. So, are there
Right.
any success that you can share with us?
Well, at the top of my head, I can only say that one of the greatest successes I've had so far is, you know, um, I consider my tenure in MullenLowe Treyna is already a success in itself. Uh,
Mhm.
I've been here for almost 10 years, and so much
Yes.
has changed without me even moving other agencies. I have really learned a lot, and I'm just really grateful that MullenLowe provided me a playground for me to grow and maximize my potential. So sticking around was really an easy decision to make.
Mhm.
Aside from that, I mentioned a while ago about 7-Eleven, and then I also worked with uh, a publisher, a global publisher called Girl Effect Mobile. So this is a
Right.
spin-off from Nike Girls Foundation, and what
Mm.
it does is it gives a lot of information in different problem areas for girls living in third world countries. Like for example, in the
Mm.
Philippines, the chances of a teenage girl getting pregnant is like 9 out of 10. So that's
Right.
already alarming, right? And we have this
Mm.
platform that gives them a lot of information so that they can continue with their dreams and arm themselves with information that can help them get out of
Mm.
their situation and alleviate their families from poverty. And I can also, I also want to brag that there are measurable impacts that we saw.
Right.
So in itself, that in itself for me is like a big pride.
Yes, but wow, that is really wonderful because you're really showing the world that you were there for them and you're making a big impact and just show them that really you got this and just bring out the best in everyone, especially for the girls out there. Wow, that is really
Mhm.
nice and incredible, Raffia. But we would like to know naman, ayan, what is your mantra in life? I mean, what keeps you going? Is there like an inspiration or like something you look forward to na parang, this is my mantra and this is how I'm gonna go on with my day. Something like that.
So I have like two that I have for
Yeah.
both my life and my career. For my life slogan would have to be, I would have to borrow from Katharine Hepburn. So I think she once
Oh.
said that if you do something that interests you, at least one person is happy. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's related to where I am in advertising. Again, starting in 2004, where no one is like really
Yeah.
investing in digital marketing, right? I
Yes.
think I was just really stubborn, and I really want to see things turn around in terms of communication channels, because we can see a lot of potential in digital more so now, right? So
Right, right.
yeah, I think that really helped me stay focused on where I should go. And then the other part for my career, I read this book, Thrive by Seth Godin in 2008, and I haven't visited that book. Maybe I should. That the
Yeah.
secret of leadership is simple. Do what you believe
Mm,
in, paint a picture of what that future looks like, go there,
mm.
and people will follow. So I think this connects with what I told you earlier, that what I learned from leadership is that you always have to be clear in what your
Yeah.
vision is, so that everybody is aligned with you, is on the same page with you. So
Yes.
having a purpose will be a good place to start with. Yeah.
Mm-mm. And I also believe, no, like what you mentioned, alignment. Alignment is really very important when it comes to being a leader. You build that alignment, that harmony within your team, and then just build, a really good relationship with one another. Grab it, and it's really hard to be a leader, right?
Super, super. Like I'm sweating right now just thinking about the problems. But yeah, it's
But
been
I love
also it's been
it.
also I guess I'm kind of happy where I am in terms of my leadership skills
Mm.
and my relationship with my team. I think I'm pretty happy. But yeah, it makes me sweat a little bit. It's kind of scary as well.
I love it. I love your energy.
Woo, woo. Yeah.
It's really hot in here.
Woo.
But yeah. Oh, maybe now go back to the questions that we have in store for you. Yan naman. Let's talk
Mm.
about present key marketing strategies. Ayan. What are the key marketing strategies that you already implemented and why?
Um, well, there's just a lot in terms of what we can do on digital, right? And it really varies per need of client. But where my team lean towards would be strategies that will give our brands their unfair share of attention. This means achieving resonance rather than just relevance, right? I mean, it's good that everybody talks about your campaign, and it's quote unquote viral, but if only a few people will feel it and it's not that inclusive enough to start a conversation, then what good is it for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Agree.
we're also after data, data driven creativity. So that gets a lot of reference in all of our work.
Mm-hmm.
Because in MullenLowe Treyna, we have a lot of departments, super
Okay.
many disciplines, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes that data driven creativity helps us in tapping different disciplines and departments to put together to provide a solution. So, for example, if a client approaches us and they want to just do an online film, we would have a
Mm-hmm.
different answer to that brief. We
Yes.
want to layer a lot of our campaigns that will heighten the experience for everybody else because we
Mm-hmm.
are after resonance. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that has worked a lot for us. We also look at building solutions that will work for our client in a more long term engagement, I guess. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, whatever will provide value to the lives of their respective consumers. Yun.
Mm, exactly. Wow, perfect. But you know what? Like you mentioned earlier, that you have so many departments, and so many people working under you. I'm just curious, uh, is what are the major changes that you've seen post-COVID, pre-COVID, post-COVID, and now? Like, how is work like for you? How do you manage your team now
Yeah.
compared to before?
So, right. I think I think the agency really prepared us for this crisis in a way, I don't know how to explain it, but back in like 3 years ago, back in 2017, we already started implementing work from home arrangements every Wednesdays.
Oh, okay.
So
Mm.
we were given that benefit, and we also had an early in and early out um, setup wherein if we come in at 7:30, we can already go home at 4:30. Of course, I cannot promise, I cannot guarantee that there will be no more work when you come home, but at least it gives you a better leeway in terms of managing your time, I guess. So when the
Mm.
pandemic hit us, and we did the drill, this is really
Mhm.
weird. We were doing like a drill, a rehearsal drill for if the everything will shut down, what will happen. So we had that kind of exercise 3 days before the lockdown. So when it was
What?
announced, okay,
How timely.
every everything got too real.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. But
Wow.
every day we still attend our town hall calls. So it's set at
Mhm.
9 a.m. and then we end sometimes in certain divisions of my team. I have an end of day call with them so that we know that everything is going as expected, business as usual, and if there are any hiccups, we would be there to solve it right away. So in a way, there was a learning curve,
Mhm.
and the vibe, or I guess, yeah, the vibe of the team was going up and down, but I think now it has steadied.
Yeah,
So
yeah. People are getting used to it na rin, ano.
yeah. Hmm.
It's still challenging, and we still hope that it will end already. We
Please,
want to
like
go back to the
tomorrow. Please,
normal.
like
Oh, like
tomorrow.
tomorrow. I agree. Ay, nako. Ayan, oh, let's go to the next question. We talk
Okay.
about the core of Blogapalooza, which is influencer marketing. So we
Mm-hmm.
would like to know, like, what are your views when it comes to, working with influencers, and what impact did they give you in terms of the company and all of your advertising work?
So I think the role of the influencer this pandemic is all the more important. But the challenge is on
Mhm.
the operative word influence. It's really this time that the power of their influence is going to be tested. So in the agency, We are after data-driven influence too. We have tools that can actually help us analyze the right people to work with
Mm-hmm.
and collaborate with, um, in terms of their effectivity. Right now, there are like a lot of solutions. No, influencers can even help you in the conversion side of the campaign or the lower funnel, where they
Mm-hmm.
convince your audience and their audiences to really go after your brand. So
Yes.
there, and you know what, I mean, I'm really fascinated by how the pandemic has affected all of us, because influencers can now have a better time to do, let's say, all of these webinars and online classes to pass on what they know
Mhm.
on a certain
Yes.
product, right? Or a certain
Yes. Yes.
space that your brand wants to be in. So I think they have a very vital role. The absence of, let's say,
Yes.
mainstream TV, right? We all know what happened
Mm-mm-mm.
to ABS-CBN. So we are looking after other voices that can bring forth to light all of these solutions and all of these maybe hacks. I don't know, maybe a good product recommendation.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think they have a very vital role.
Yeah, that's
Also,
true. Mm-mm.
sorry, Zane. You were
Yeah,
saying
yeah,
something.
go on.
Um,
Yes.
and
Go
also, I would also want to brag again that at MullenLowe
Go.
Treyna, we have a product or a solution that's called Current. Current is a content, influence, and social stack. What it does is we combine again different disciplines from our agency. So, for example, from
Yeah.
my team, we are versed with content creation and platform strategy. We have another department that handles PR and influence, and then there's another department that handles production in house. So
Oh.
we can put all those together in a package that can, let's say, be reasonable for our clients, even if they just
Yes, yes.
engage with us for, I don't know, like, hopefully longer period of time. But even if we just do it on a parang uh, shorter term, it would work. So yeah, we kind of fold in everything, and influencer included. Yeah.
Ah, nice. Love it. So, talagang
Mhm.
ano influencers are really, they're booming and skyrocketing nowadays. Parang, they are the voice. And people are looking up to them rin, especially now that we are pivoting to the digital world. Like everything is evolving in the digital industry, right?
And
But
Jamie, imagine
mm,
the amount of creativity all of these influencers and creators are coming up with. Every day you'll be
exactly.
surprised with the talent,
Mm,
right? I mean,
true.
on TikTok, Twitter,
Uh,
everyone is like
yeah, yeah,
having
yeah.
their own moment. So
True.
really happy for them as well.
Yes, love it. Speaking of influencers, there are also like young souls out there, or like
Mhm.
aspiring souls, even the old souls, who would want to, try out this field, the marketing field. Maybe they're new to this. Is there any advice that you want to tell them, or any words of encouragement that you can tell them? Because you've been in the digital marketing for 15 years. Maybe you can give them advice on how to start.
Okay. I will also start from a place of where I am in terms of what I know. What I know is, first of all, I love creativity and chaos. So if that appeals to
Mhm.
you, then this is really the field where you should go. You have to be prepared for the demanding workload, the
Yeah.
countless hours, the ups and downs that come with it. So I think for the first advice, you have to apply tenacity in everything that you do. Second, um, you need to do active listening. So in marketing, it pays to read and analyze what your audience really needs. So for my case, since I've been exposed to a lot of social media marketing, that comes with, you know, scrolling scrolling through and sweeping through the comments and the feedback that I get from the community that my
Yeah, yeah,
brands
yeah.
have. That's just that's a form of active listening already. And the amount of information that I get, um, is already something that I can use as insight for the things that I have to do moving forward. Um, last is the last advice that I would give. I have to borrow from Lee Reyes again. Um, she mentioned this to me like 2 weeks ago, that I have to think
Mhm.
of myself as a product. Um, because
Mm.
when you see yourself as a product and you check your skills, which products you can which skills you can productize, then you can assess which of them will give most value to your audiences. So that's why it
Yes,
was
yes.
great for her that after she moved on from becoming um, an advertising agency president, um, she evolved into becoming chief product consultant. Actually, we call her C3PO. Gustong gusto niya yung title na yun, C3PO.
C3PO.
Uh,
I love it. Oh, C3PO. Yes. But wow, so many learnings. Grabe. And ang cute ng C3PO. But wait a minute, because I
mhm.
want to go back to because you said you are performing. You're into performing arts at magaling kang kumanta. Maybe share a little a little of your talent, kahit 2 lines lang.
Oh my God, I'm like put on the
Let's
spot.
go. Let's go, Raffy.
Nakakaloka.
Let's go. Let's go.
I can only think of I can only think of Mariah right now. Oh, I
Okay,
was listening
go.
to her.
We need that
Um,
positivity. Come on. Okay, let's go.
so this is my favorite song. It's called "We Belong Together." So I didn't mean it when I said I didn't love you so. I should have held on tight. I never should have let you go. I didn't know nothing. I was stupid. I was foolish. I was lying to myself. That's it. Oh my God,
Yeah,
I'm so
woo,
shy.
grabe. Congratulations, Raffy. I love it. My goodness, thank you so much for that.
M-
Grabe talaga. And
My
we are
face turned
learning.
pink.
Oh, but hey, we loved it so much. Ang galing talaga. And
Thank you.
Rafi, thank you so, so much for all those, nuggets of wisdom that we are really going to take with us, diba, forever because of this interview. And thank you so much for your time. I myself I'm amazed talaga with, your journey here in the digital marketing community and as well as your experience nga in life. So, right, syempre here in Blogapalooza, we appreciate your time and your effort for being here. And as well as, yeah, I think we have come to the part of the show that we have to say goodbye already.
Uh,
So, yeah, thank you so much, Rafi. Thank you for all
Thank
the
you, G.
knowledge, your experience, your wisdom. I had so much fun during this session with you. Yes.
Anytime. Thank you
So
so much, Marketech Mondays, for also giving me a
yes.
chance to share whatever knowledge that I have. So, yeah, thank you guys. Thank you to Blogopalooza.
Yes, all right. And thank you once again to our online viewers who are watching right now. And we will see you again on the next episode of hashtag Marketing Mondays.